All
Oh, I
right.
have one more thing to say, Jason.
Yes.
John, I can't remember if I responded to you, or if Barb responded to you, or if we totally forgot, and it's been like 20 minutes and I already don't remember. John is on vacation this week, so he's actually in Florida. If he wants to see this, I will make sure that he gets the recording just to kind of get an idea. But he's not available. So that was why he's not here.
Thank
And I
you.
did not invite him because I knew he wasn't going to be here.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. All right. So today is February 17th, 2022. This is the community committee meeting. Present today is Councilperson Tressa, Councilperson McNamara, Councilperson Koss, Mayor Hughes, and Administrative Assistant Barb. We also have our presentation today. It looks like Peter and Adam will be joining us to do their presentation today. So I'll let you guys take it away. We've reviewed some of the paperwork and we're looking forward to seeing the demo and what you could possibly do for us here in the community.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Jason. We're glad to be here. Thanks for having us and giving us the chance to show a bit of our software. I'm Peter, and Adam is here to join us well to answer any questions. And to start us off, so I'll show the agenda here. Oh, can I share my screen? Is that okay?
Yes, you can share your screen. Does he have permission? I think so.
I hope so.
It's telling me host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, Barb, I'm hoping you can do better than me because I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, advanced, basic, no. Okay, they said that there's somewhere that I can go. Let's try this over here. That's not it. Somebody else fixed this for me last time, so. More.
I'm looking for it. I don't know.
Oh wait,
All right.
enable waiting room share screen, allow participants. Got it.
Oh, perfect.
Try it.
Let's pop it up now.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, great. Can you guys see my demonstration agenda screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Great. So yeah, so the agenda, the meat of the agenda is really down here with the systems tour, where we're going to go through most of the parts of our program. And at the end, of course, well, questions anytime. I appreciate interruptions. So anytime you want to dig more into something or clarify anything, just chime in. And at the end, we'll talk about pricing and next steps if you want to talk about that. But I thought we'd start with kind of y'all sharing a bit about your pool and kind of how it works to give us an idea how we can tailor the conversation and then what your goals are for your pool passes.
Hang on. Okay, it looks like Jason got kicked off.
Oh,
Okay, let's see if he's back on. I don't know if I don't want to take over his meeting, so I'm not sure.
But I feel like, Mayor, you probably have the most expertise with how.
Exactly. So as far as what they're trying to accomplish, I'll kind of let them go, but we do have we just put in a baby pool. We have a large pool. We do sell memberships. We sell individual day passes. We do not sell, we have vending machines. We do not sell concessions. That's something we're looking to change. But it's our community pool. So the occupancy is a couple, definitely 100, 200 people we could have in there. So right now we are doing pretty much basic handwritten membership applications. So there is nothing nothing in this century that we're actively doing. We don't really have a way to track everything at this point. So we're looking for things that we might be able to get more of a tracking system. Like, is it a resident that is purchasing a membership? Is it a resident that's doing a day pass? Even if it was just a zip code or something like that, that would at least give us an idea. So really, we're just trying to get into the century when it comes to being able to track things and taking payments and doing all of that. We did finally, if this gives you any sort of, we just got Wi-Fi for the first year. We've never even had Wi-Fi at the pool. So now we actually have an iPad. We had to do, because of COVID, we had to do a Sign Up Genius type thing. And really that was a mess, but we were able to put it together. So really, I think it's, we're looking for, as far as our goals go, we're looking for something that can just bring us to this century. I mean, an easier way if our phone line goes down, we can't even take payments. So there's got to be a better way.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed. Well, that paints a very clear picture. I think you're in the right spot. There's a lot of ways we help other clients do exactly all that stuff. So I'm gonna take you through all that. Took some notes here to make sure we cover it. And yeah, I think we'll go into it. And again, chime in if you want to dig in more. So a 30-second review of our company. We do exactly what you're talking about there. We specialize in pool pass software, pool passes, and applications, and also a marketplace to administer all the stuff into the modern age. So we'll go to our systems tour. So I think we'll start with passes. So there's a few types of passes that we provide. You actually don't need passes if you choose not to, and that's fine. A lot of pools like to have the classic PVC passes, as we see here. I've got one to kind of use and demonstrate. There's a few variations with the passes. Some folks have barcodes, some have pictures. It's all customizable, and it's definitely printed with your logo and any information you want as well. And new for this year, we've got actually the e-passes, because that's the direction it's all going. So for folks that prefer, if they bring their phone around and don't want to have a pass, that's an option as well. So I saw a nod there from Nicole, so I'll sprinkle in some details about kind of how that works. So yeah, keep on nodding. You like stuff, I'll share more. All right, so there's some pass overviews. And next we'll go straight into like how it works at the pool. I'm gonna bring myself to the pool pass software. So this is what it looks like kind of in the lifeguard area or the check-in person or whatever office where people enter, whatever it looks like at your facility. Someone will come to the door with their pass and they'll want to get in. So if all's working well and this is someone that should get in, so your lifeguard's gonna have their scanner, they zipped it in, and then we see Lisa's popped up. So a few things to point out. One is, of course, pictures. They all match with hopefully who's in front of you. So there's some immediate kind of safety and security that happens. And our system's organized by household. So we see in this household, the Reese family, we have Lisa, Tom, and Sue. So they all pop up as an option. You don't need to scan in each individual member. So it makes things a little bit easier. And you can choose who you want to sign in. There's some notes like ages. Sometimes pools like to know how old folks are, so they're with an adult. And swim tests. This is all customizable depending on what you want to put in there. So let's go ahead and check in all members in this household. Then we'll notice up here, it should, I'm not sure why that didn't happen there. Our occupancies should change. Let's try that again. Sometimes in our demo software, things work a little differently. Check them in again. So I think we'll use our imaginations for this one right now, but this is our counter on the left. Maybe Adam can take a look at that behind the scenes. That should go up to 3 or whoever you add to the system. You mentioned guest passes. There's actually about 14 different ways we administer guest passes through our system, and you can kind of pick and choose amongst what works best for you. Sometimes guest passes are associated with the household and membership. In this case, the guest passes are on the right here. Oh, it kind of timed out on us, so I'll pull it up again. Check in Lisa once again. And so with the option to include a few more guests along with Lisa. We can type in optional notes there. We can put in extra names. Let's say that Sam Jones joined, and that can help you keep track of that in that way, or you can skip it. That's one quick guest pass option. We can also sign in members. Let's say that they just signed up and their card doesn't come in the mail, or you're not doing passes, or someone just forgot it for the day. We can actually go to the member list, type in their name. I'll just type in part of Lisa's name. As we can see, anyone with those particular letters pulls up. So clicking on Lisa would bring us back to her screen, and we can pick the check-in button to check in, or actually check out as well. All right, so systems catching up here a little bit with 3 people. So we'll do the check out button this time, and we can do the similar functions. So it's checking out instead of checking in. Maybe Tom and Lisa are heading out, but Sue is sticking behind with some friends. So we'll check out folks in that way. And our counter will update. Another way to check out folks is by clicking the counter, and maybe you're not checking out folks individually, but you're checking them out as they leave the pool area. We can hit the -2 button and our number will update. There's also a function where some pools, they go around every hour or so to check chemicals and other tasks, and they might do a pool count. And you said you guys have occupancies around 100 to 200, so we can just set that to what we saw at the moment. Oh, not that many. And our counter, again, our demo is not that following along, but that would, so Adam, maybe wanted to chime in there.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm logged in at the same time. I think my system is overriding yours, so I
Okay.
apologize for that.
Cool.
So I gotta log it. I gotta log out, log back in, so we're logged in under the same account.
Cool, perfect, thanks. So we'll just use our imaginations a little bit for today. All right, so that's our check-in. So then digging into the database a little bit more, we saw our member list briefly there. This is where we start to list all the folks that are in the system. And we'll drill into Lisa again to see some more about that. So our database is divided basically in 2 halves. We have the household here on the left, then the member details on the right. The household has all the basic information that you would collect, emails, phones, addresses, notes, if there's emergency contact information that can be in the notes, that kind of thing. A few things I'll highlight though is the expiration date. So right now we can see that the membership is active. I'll tap on green. But let's wind back the clock and let's pretend that it's inactive. Maybe they haven't paid their membership for this current year yet. And you've done a system-wide reset to expire everyone for the end of last year. And you can see that that conveniently expires. So at this point, if Lisa were to try to sign in, it would actually prevent her from doing that. I'd hit the scanner and it would give the lifeguard an error, or not an error, but it's mentioned that it's expired. And Lisa would have to check in at the office or resolve this in some way. So go back and unexpire Lisa. There's also a suspend button. So let's say if someone is behind on their membership and that's the way you choose to suspend everybody until they pay. That sounds a little bit different. But that's a feature. We kind of use those on our HOA pools for suspension quite a bit. And then scrolling through the household, we see our members list here. We can scroll through that way and we can actually see that Sue is checked in. We can also scroll through our members on the right here. Each member's information is on the right and it corresponds. This barcode number is the barcode that's attached to Lisa's pass. All right, so in this screen as well, we can add more memberships. This is kind of more the old-fashioned way. Let's say you continue your paper applications and someone comes in to sign up. You can add a new membership. And I won't go through those steps now, but you would plug them in and fill that information. And then you would add more members to the household on the right side, same way. There's an easier way that I'll get to pretty quickly here. Delete that one I created. And we're back to the household. All right, so that's kind of our check-in and database. Actually, while we're here, let's check out some stats. You kind of talked about tracking information and data. So we have a few different like onboard features that do that kind of automatically for you. And of course, you can download these stats to your own spreadsheets. And if you have someone on the team that's good at that kind of thing, you can get some really pretty graphs going. But in the system right now, we're looking at check-ins. So this check-ins, you really can't mess up. Every time someone checks in, it gets recorded, and it's always on this chart here. It does check in by type as well. So the red bars is members, green we have here as guests, and then or maybe blue is guests, and then green was tickets. Tickets is part of our marketplace. I'll explain in a little bit. Another frequently used tab is occupancy, and this tracks if you are checking out, somewhat accurately, then that corresponds to how accurate your occupancy chart is here. So you can see when the popular times and all that stuff is. That's pretty handy. And we've also got our log, which is kind of like your sign-in sheet. It records everyone coming and going. So you can see I've been active with Lisa with demonstrations, so she's coming and going quite a bit. Also, some of these details with, here we go, Sam Jones. That was our guest that we admitted, so it tracks that way. So there's kind of some little tricks here that help you kind of find the features you want. I wouldn't dig into all these, but later I'll talk about the support sessions, and we have a lot of help documents to really personalize your system. All right, so I think that's most about the database and sign in, unless there's any questions about some of those details. I'll move on to our portal. So kind of leading to applications, I did notice on your website you guys are doing the paper applications, and you kind of mentioned that. Should I tell you about how we do it electronically? Are you considering kind of moving into the Jason kind of nodding a little bit? Cool. So trying to save time. This is great. Great option here. So one thing we have here, so this is our website we actually create for each pool. This is optional. We can create one of these for you that you would like link from your site to this page, or we can give you these links. So basically you'd like grab the apply online button and then have a hyperlink to your website. And during your onboarding session, all those details will be worked out depending on kind of what style you're going for. But for sure, this page is very frequent for us to do. It's all customizable. Of course, your logo, any custom text, and then whichever buttons you all decide is appropriate for what you want. In this case, we'll check the online or apply online button. All right, so also very customizable. There's some basic stuff that of course should be in all applications, and the rest of it is really up to you. So it gathers a lot of common information like emails and household information. The membership types, this really depends on the pool style. So you mentioned there's kind of year-long memberships, and if there's any variations of that, there's all these selections here. It's all built with logic. So if there's a drop down that's needed to have a type of membership, things would change based off what they select. If there's different membership fees for different categories and amounts of people, all that stuff is pre-built and selected with your onboarding session. All right, so kind of moving along, we'll just click resident for now. And then household information. And here's where you select your patrons. So we saw the Reese family earlier. For this demonstration, it's all preloaded for information. But of course, instead of paper writing down their names and then somebody typing that in, this is basically the interface to go into the database. There's kind of one more step that I'll guide you through. But this starts it. And of course, they select their own picture, crop and fit it to size. So that takes away a bit of work for you guys. So we've got our 3 patrons here. Then this is sort of like an optional section. Any information, maybe you're looking for like how they found out about the pool or proof of residency. Any of that stuff can be included in this kind of optional section. Some pools like waivers, so if they actually need to like sign something, this is like one for household to sign off on that. And then also checkboxes too, terms and conditions, and pool rules, that kind of stuff, which could include, of course, hyperlinks to that. All right, so that's like a basic application. This is where it gets a little more complicated, and I sort of lose myself and sometimes lose people trying to explain some of these nuances, because it's very customizable and there's kind of a lot of details. So for now, some things to show. Jumping ahead to year 2 a little bit. So if someone's already in the system, like whether you upload your current applicants your current membership base into the system, which is an option I kind of didn't mention earlier with the database. The options kind of change if they're just reactivating their membership and getting an e-pass compared to actually printing out a new pass. So up here we have those kind of options, whether it's initial or replacement or reactivation. That kind of changes things. And there can be different fees based off those passes. And then payment processing, there's a lot of kind of different nuances with this too. So depending on how you charge your applicants, whether or not you use the marketplace and our processing services or use your own, you can choose to basically pass on that processing fee to the applicant, kind of like Ticketmaster does. So you can check that box and then you can see a processing fee pops up here. And I'll explain that later as well when we talk about the cost and pricing for our services. And then same with, so matching the fees, that's a similar kind of button. And then some pools decide to kind of absorb those costs on their own, and it's really built into their membership costs. But all those options are there for you. Yep, and a couple of the buttons to press to customize and add more fields. You can also decide to turn payment off. So in that case, you'd still collect payments in-house, and it would still tell the applicant how much it'll cost, but it won't go to any of our processing features. It'll simply submit the application. So we'll click that for now, turn that back off. So we've got our fees, but instead of collecting that, it's just going to say submit down here. All right, any questions about the application part before we see the behind the scenes stuff? Cool. All right, we'll keep on rocking. All right, so then kind of what's next? So usually pools don't want to just have people fill stuff out and then bam, it's in the system. There wants to be some kind of filtering to make sure the application's proper and whatever else you're looking for. So this is our application processing portal. That's a mouthful for me, so bear with me as I say that about 10 times in the next minute. So at our application processing portal, a few things on the screen. We have some stats up top here, and then we can have it display what you want. So I hit this blue button, and it's all the ones that are ready to process, and the ones that are kind of naughty applicants are in this held and declined category. But we'll stay with the all for now. Yeah, and we'll kind of go through an application here. We'll pretend for this one that this is going well, that the application was submitted properly. We're going to go over here to the green claim button. And this actually shows us the application. We can scroll down and check it out. If you want to kind of read through it first, we can check out the patrons and other details. And because it looks good so far, we're going to go ahead and hit the green button. This is starting the communication process between the portal and the database. For this one, we're going to pretend like they're a new member, new for the season. So we're going to click that button. And so from here, it's pretty simple. We have some drag and drop screens. So in this case, we're going to add all 3 applicants. And we can continue. But if for some reason, maybe let's say that age of 2 and under, they don't need a pool pass or be in the system. They don't need to be added. We might drag Sue back and put her back in there. But we'll go ahead and continue for now. This just kind of shows the information to make sure it's syncing properly. That's usually all good. For the membership ID, we typically recommend a street address for their ID, but some pools already have their identification numbers or some kind of bond number. So you can use whatever system you want. And we see we're creating 3 new members. And we'll go ahead and hit the create button. So this is like the congratulations message when the application goes well. There's actually quite a bit of communication between the applicant and the application. So actually the first one I missed is when they submit their application. At first, they'll get an email that says their application is submitted. so they know they did that properly. And if things go well, they get a custom made congratulations message that says that they have been approved for the pool, and they can go ahead and start using the pool immediately. If you want a personalized message for that particular applicant, then you can type that in here, or if there's any internal comments as well, I'll show you where they're logged. So we're just going to cancel that for now and go back a little bit. And in this case, let's say that either it's year 2 and they're already in the system, or you've uploaded your current members into the system. Then you might just want to be matching what's in the system, and they're just more like updating their information as opposed to adding it. So the computer recommends some possible like people in the database, the households. So we're going to look at our address, and it's 3062. So we're going to match that up with the one that looks like it's right. And we see we're on the right track here because it's matching the current members with the new members. In this case, we could say, hey, that's all great. You can actually decide to use an old image or a new image. A couple options there, and we could continue, but maybe for some reason the pictures isn't good, you might not add an applicant, or again, they're too young. Or maybe let's use our imaginations and let's say this isn't Sue, that this is Henry, and Henry's a new person to the family. We want to add that applicant, and maybe Sue has actually gone off to college and is no longer a member of the household and doesn't use the pool. So they didn't apply for Sue that year. Then we want to take Sue off the membership, and we can delete that. So let's try that and see what happens. Again, matching up the information. And so this time, yeah, we have 2 that are just being updated. One is added and one is deleted, kind of we expected. So then their custom email will give them a summary of all these actions. Instead of just 3 approvals, it's going to have some more details. And we can hit the same send button to submit that. All right, so that's when things are going well for applications. I'm going to head backwards again. And actually just go ahead and close this one down. All right, so we're back to where the application started. There's some options, 99 or 95% of the time, applications are great, perfect. They just roll through, but maybe something's off. Maybe you look at the payment and you're like, ooh, they paid for a certain type of membership, maybe for 3 members instead of 5, and it looks like they signed up with a 5 membership. That's not right. So we need to hold that membership, or there could be other reasons, of course. So we can click the hold. Again, it communicates with the applicant, unless, by the way, you can decide to suppress that, and it's just done in-house and they don't get the message, but usually you want the message. They might say, incorrect submission for whatever reason, type it in there and they'll get that message. You might say, please submit again, or give the office a call. And look at that. And same with the decline. You can choose, maybe for some reason, it's just a totally off base applicant and they simply need to start over. You would just decline that. One more thing to point out is our instructions. So depending on how you do this, a few things to point out. For one, some pools, they do the applications in-house, and there's a person, whether it's a board member or someone hired to do applications. That's great. We call that self-serve, but you still want your own your instructions up there just to remind yourself, like, how do I do this again? And when am I supposed to hold people? Or when should I decline somebody? So these are custom instructions to make sure that the person that's processing applications is on the right track. We can conveniently pull it out to the screen here, make it bigger, so that we can have that kind of side by side if we want to. And also we do a full service application processing too. That's part of our services. So you can have access granted, process your applications, and we'll have the instructions to make sure we do it properly as well. All right. One more thing in the portal. I'm going to go ahead and release this one. It's no longer claimed, and close it down. So we're back to the main screen here where we can choose applications. And so you can see examples of some that are declined and on hold for various reasons. It's kind of nice. You have a journal on the side here. There's a bit of kind of history about maybe why it was declined. That the notes here is not a member of the community. That's all kept track of, just so someone else coming in or other administrator can see what's going on. Same with our hold here. We got hold quite a few times for demonstration purposes. Hopefully it's a little smoother in reality. All right, so that's the portal. Any questions there, or Adam, anything I missed? Cool. You guys are a great audience.
Aside from, I guess this is really, I don't know, but I figured this would be the time to ask.
Yeah.
You know, we use a CRM software like this. Now, when you're talking about letters and emails, will those be automatically generated, or we can specially tailor those to what we want those, correct?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. You want to
Okay.
take a look? You want to take a look at how that works really quick, or is that just a yes for now? And
Yeah, that's a yes for now. I just wanted to make sure that there was something that, you know, that those are things that we can specially tailor to what
Oh, yeah.
our residents need. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's part of your onboarding process. So we'll jump ahead a little bit to next steps later, but we'll talk you through that. Great. Thank you. All right. So next part, you kind of talked about concessions a little bit, considering wanting to do that. So it sounds like I should show you the marketplace. Suggest nodded. Thank you. Cool. So we'll go back to our check-in side. I'll show you how it works, like on the ground first, and do the same thing where we kind of go behind the scenes and set it up. So you got a couple options. You know, someone might come with their pool pass and they're just being signed in, but then someone comes to the gate or wherever you have the concessions and they've got their phone, or they're gonna print it off. This is like their, we'll call it their ticket to redeem things. So to back up a second, so our system is not a point of sale system. So, but meaning that it's not a cash-based or credit card system, which is great because you don't need to worry about cash or handle it, or there's teenagers operating the lifeguard stand, they're not dealing with cash box. That all happens behind the scenes, and the patron takes care of all their money management and buying stuff needs, and that happens through our service. So they simply come to the lifeguard stand or the concessions with their ticket, and someone's gonna say, great, looks like you're here for the market. Let's see what's on your ticket. So we're just gonna scan that in, the same scanner we use for our pool passes. And there we go. Yep, so that works. So our barcode popped up real quick. It's kind of quick. That's over here. Yep, that's our ticket number. And we see it's Kyle. That's what's also on his ticket. And in this case, Kyle has $93 on his like account. So then what can happen next is someone scans in a item, say a can of Coke. So, and this is customizable too. I can show you behind the scenes in a second. So Kyle or Quick can just kind of purchase that can of Coke, purchase complete. And if we were to scan Kyle in again, he's gonna go from about $92 to, oh, I need to make sure the mouse is in the right spot. And yep, the balance there is lowered down to $91.50. That's for like purchasing things. There's also redeemable side. So in this case, Kyle actually has some guest passes on his account as well. There's just a few more ways to buy guest passes through this sort of area of the programs. So Kyle can redeem one of those and click the button, and it kind of gets a message to say, yes, allow one more person in. Cancel that for now. So yeah, that's how it works on like on the ground side. So there's two behind the scenes parts. Let's go to the patron side. So the same way they apply, there's also links to purchase goods. So this can be again on your website, or this one we make for you, and they can pull it up on their phone or at home. They're a first-time user. So there's two aspects of the marketplace here. We saw Kyle had funds on Kyle's account. So you can add $20 by adding funds in that area. And then we see that our purchase checkout area is $20 on there now. Or you can buy specific things like guest passes or parties. Sometimes if you want to rent the gazebo, like that kind of thing at your site or an event, you can do multi-passes. This is basically, I'll show you in a second, this is all customizable to have exactly what you want on there. So to practice, I'll give us a ticket really quick, sample, doesn't cost any money, it's great. And I'll put my name in here, and my email. You can bear with me for just a quick second. Hopefully I typed it in correctly. Request free ticket. So I can have it on my phone here, screenshot it, print a ticket, or I just heard on my speakers that I had an email come in and that ticket is waiting for me. So I'll grab that here real quick. So I got my email that I can keep on my phone to have that scan in. So this is the same, just like I'm scan it in. Oh, and I remember that I need to have the mouse in the right spot. So the gate attendant see this email on their phone, and oh, I kind of clicked a whole bunch of stuff there. So let's save time and pretend that I was more skilled on my computer here. So that was good. Come on track. Perfect. All right. So yeah, that sample ticket that we just purchased shows up immediately and can be used. So they can be right outside the gate and not really slow down the Soul system. I'll cancel that for now. So where were we? We're kind of at this. Oh, sorry to click through a bunch there. Yep, that was our ticket. Yeah, so on the back end, similar to customizing emails, we can customize all this other marketplace stuff. So we're on our Pool Pass main site. We can go to Manage Marketplace and add any products you wish. So there's the products there. We can add it to the right. Let's say there's a local champion. You want to sell some posters to fundraise for the swim team, and pop that in there. And whatever you put for your costs, that's all you have. This is what you have access to, and you can adjust it anytime. There's also some more stuff here. We're kind of getting low on time, so maybe I'll skip that, but there's a lot of more options. So that's, I think, most of the marketplace. Any questions there? Yeah.
Yeah, I have some. So I assume there's a processing fee with this as well. Can that be put back onto the guest? Or do we absorb that?
Can I pass that one to you, Adam? We actually talked about this the other day, and I don't want to say the wrong answer.
Yeah, in the marketplace itself, you do have to absorb that fee. So if you sell a $20 product, and we do take our processing fee out of the $20. So we can't do $20 plus $2 in processing. Yep.
Okay.
So set your
It's not-
prices a tiny bit higher than you
Gotcha.
normally would.
So it's not like the application where we could put it back on them.
Correct.
What about, is there like a minimum that we can set on that? I mean, if there's $1 processing fee and they're only putting $1 on there, that would seem not like a bad
Yeah,
idea.
correct. You would set it up like the common one is $20. So the minimum
Okay.
purchase would be $20.
Okay.
And the example is you'd sell lollipops for 25 cents. Like they would purchase $20 or a $20 ticket. That's where our fees apply. And with that $20, you can buy 80 different lollipops on 80 different transactions. There's no additional fees.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Adam. Cool. One more quick financial part I mentioned. We do have a billing software as well. So invoices can be sent to folks' emails and they can pay through that. If that's the kind of thing you want to set up. So it can be like a mass email from all previous year's members, just to go ahead and give them a quick link to do that. I think for now, that's kind of a great segue. Oh yeah, I didn't see your name on there, but I see your hands up.
This is Barb. Can you hear me?
Thanks, Barb.
Can you tell me what the processing fee is on the membership side that we're passing along to people? Is that a percentage?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great segue. Our next thing was going to be prices anyway. So I'm going to bounce down to that, and then we'll bounce back up to everything else. So processing fees. So it's 5% plus $1 per transaction. It mirrors basically what we pay to credit card companies pretty closely, of course, with our own little cut there for convenience and have it all as a mesh system.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so to be honest, it's much less than Ticketmaster, for example, but not as low as if people do it on their own straight through the credit card companies yourselves.
Okay, thanks.
And one thing to note though too, if you don't use our systems for processing, all those calculations and features, like for the application portal, they still happen. We don't charge for anything else besides if we just collect money for the processing of money. So, all right, so more on money stuff. So our prices, this is like for the database and the software. The database can actually be free if you don't have check-in software. Most pools do use the check-in functions. That's on an annual basis. And I'll email you this, of course, afterwards so you guys can scout through it. A lot of pools are seasonally, so they only need access starting around March. For the first year, of course, if you sign up tomorrow, we'll let you in, and we can talk about timeline to let you in ASAP to get in there. But typically it's the March 1st start of the season, but only a little bit more for annual. So that's for all the database stuff. And then so passes, if you choose not to use passes and just do a member lookup system, but then you'd still be checking in most likely. There's no fee just to use lookups. For passes, we've got our 3 options here. There's the classic passes that are mailed directly to patron homes, and that's $1 per pass. That's the vinyl, these guys, and then $3 per household if they, when they sign up as a group. And some pools just have a whole bunch of PBC passes mailed to your office. And let's say, for example, you did the self-service for the application portal and used to sign the barcode. If you set it up correctly, it'll sign the next barcode in the box. And of course, there's no picture because you couldn't predict that. That's a way some folks do it. But if you want the picture on there, then we print those in-house at our facility and mail them directly. Then the e-passes, that's just a flat fee. That's if 5 people use it or 500 people use it. That's just a one-time per year. Getting down to the portal. So the portal, that's where we had people enter their information and pictures instead of that happening on site manually. That's just a $200 per year setup fee. That's also doesn't depend on patrons. You can have 5 people or 5,000. Same fee for the portal. Technically, this is a yearly fee. So the second year you'd have to budget maybe for the 200, but a lot of our clients actually qualify for free portal for the next year if they're full service where we're processing applications and if they're doing payment processing. The waiver, it's $1 per submission if you choose that. And then if you want to, I can tell you more about the full service processing, but that's $3 for a submission. It's important to note though, it's not 3 plus 3, the $3 plus the $3 for household printing. Going back up to these tickets here. This $3 household fee is waived if you choose full service. So it's not like a double ding. All right, going back to portal, that's it on that. We talked about fees a little bit. And our last thing is hardware, support and hardware. So there's a ton of free support. We have our online documents. We have email tickets where you can email us and do an online ticket to have someone respond to you. And there's our onboarding and new client support. The only paid live support is once you're all set up, if you need extra support in person, then we'll do that for you, but we just, kind of share our costs. Lastly is hardware. We can sell you a laptop that's set up and ready to go, the one we recommend that has the keyboard and all the things you need. But really, the recommended software is any device that has an internet web page, Chrome, Edge, Safari, an iPad, a laptop you already have, or something you can find cheaper on Amazon. That's great, but we can provide it for you. Same with the scanner. You can find some of that are cheaper and more expensive, but this one works for everything, and we know it's effective for a system. So that's the rest of the demo. I should say we do have another one, Ab and I, in 10 minutes, so I didn't leave a ton of time for questions, but we can talk about that and next steps if you wish. So any questions?
Yeah, I have some.
Yeah.
So the difference between the annual and the seasonal. So we are a seasonal pool. We are open Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend. However, so if we just do the seasonal one, does that mean that only the check-in portion works during that time? Or would the billing work outside of that? Like, could we collect payments outside of that season, or do we have to have the annual for that?
I'm gonna pass this one to Adam too, just to make sure we get it right. I can guess.
Yeah, so we do turn off access October 1st. So you will not be able to add people or look at
Okay.
statistics or process payments. So
Okay,
the swim clubs that process in January, they pay the 420. Our
Okay.
HOAs that don't look at the pool pay the
Mhm.
336.
okay. And then let me rephrase, let me figure out my question if anyone else has any. Oh, I got it. All right, no, I figured out my question. So if we sell a pass that is only good after a certain time of day or on weekends, would the system know that? Like if someone scans in their pass and it's only good after 5 o'clock and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, would they get a denied or rejected notification?
So the guest passes sold through the marketplace, yes. So you can set up a 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. guest pass.
Okay,
Membership, like your year-long members, no, you
Mhm.
cannot put that restriction on it. But
Okay.
you can add a note, like in Peter's demo, the daughter had a past swim test. So if you have a restrictive membership, you can do that.
Mhm.
So like membership can be weekend only members or after 5 p.m. members, and the lifeguards will enforce that policy.
But that's only in the marketplace portion of it.
Correct. And then otherwise you would have to put a note into the account. So the membership type would be weekend only or after 5 p.m. membership.
Okay,
But the system will allow the lifeguard to check that person in, even if it's 3 o'clock.
gotcha.
And
So if we have you guys process everything, how do the funds get back to us then?
So we issue payouts once a month. And so either by check is the kind of the default, we'll mail you a check. But if you want to connect a bank account through a bank transfer, you can do that as well. So Stripe is our payment processor. And so that's how you would securely connect it.
Okay.
It's automatically done once a month, but for some of our swim clubs that are high dollar amounts, if you request it more than that, we can do that. We just manually do it for you.
Okay. How long does it normally take to set up a site or?
Yep. So I tell potential clients budget 7 days. So if you tell us tomorrow, we'll get your account set up in 1 day, but there's a lot of customization. And so you come back to us and there's a back and forth to make sure it's 100% perfect for you. Some clients take longer than 7 days, so that's because they don't get back to us.
Perfect. Okay.
And Peter's gonna,
Anyone else?
yeah, Peter's gonna send you the pricing, but it sounds like you have that already. But
Yeah.
other questions?
Anyone? Okay.
Well, we appreciate your time. And again, I'll email Jason that information. So you
Perfect.
can, there's links on there, of course, a quick, easy link to sign up. You can email me back. You can schedule another time with me or Adam.
Okay.
And let us know if you need anything.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate your time.
So thank you
thank
for
you.
joining us.
Absolutely.
We appreciate
Thank
your
you so
time.
much.
Thank
Have a great night.
you.
All right.
So I'm gonna leave.
Okay, so it looks like Jason, Stacy, and David are still on here, myself and Barb. We can't make any decisions. This is still being recorded. So you guys are free to discuss because we're in an actual meeting. So does anybody have any thoughts, questions, concerns, positives, negatives? What do you guys see as far as potential problems or the benefits, or where are you guys at?
I mean, Jason asked a lot of good questions, honestly, like about like trying to figure out who's on like the afternoon passes versus the regular pass. Like, is that going to be a problem? Is that like something that's going to get, is that going to like slip through? I don't know. That's just kind of something we need to consider, I guess.
Yeah.
Seemed
And-
okay.
And to get a little bit of a background, just so everybody's aware, because I don't know that anybody or everybody's even been to the pool, and I know we only have 3 council people on here, but I do know, Brian does know this. John has operated the pool for 40, this will be his 41st year. I will be the first to tell you that John does not like change, and I think David can kind of probably see that. David actually got to work with him last year, and this is being recorded, so he can, I'm going to offer John to be able to see this. And I'm not saying that change is not a good thing when it comes to certain areas and certain things, but we pay our employees down there to do a job that they have signed up for, and adding a lot more to their tasks can sometimes be a little, we want to watch that kind of thing. Is this going to be more of a headache than it's worth? I don't know. And then the second part to this is the 2 office people have also been there for quite a few years. And they know the process, and getting a new, more higher tech type thing. I don't know exactly how all of that will go in the training parts to it. And, I'm just going to say it's a lot to put on somebody to have to read remarks and see who has an after 5 pass and who doesn't versus. So I could see that as being a little more difficult. Do I think that people will slide through? Absolutely. Not because they don't know how to do their job, and not because, but there's times in which there's a line out the door to get in. So those are, I agree, those are probably some of the more potential issues that people just, or maybe not this year, but next year when they realize, oh, I could have just bought an evening pass and gone all day because nobody's going to notice type thing.
Mhm.
So again, I mean, it's one of those that is a lot. I think that's the easiest thing. It's a lot where it's a lot of great things. There's a lot of fees involved, which when you really start listening to, do the fees outweigh our regular person collecting? And Stacy, we talked about that a tiny bit. Why don't we just take credit card and skip the cash? With our Square fees and all that kind of stuff and credit card fees, when we look at the numbers at the end of the month, and Barb, I think she got to see them last year, they add up pretty big. When we start talking about tens of thousands of dollars that we bring in, the fees on that, when you're a small municipality, a $39 late fee is crucial. So every dollar does count when you start looking at sewer projects and all, not sewer because it doesn't go to the general fund, but you get my point. Every dollar counts. So that's a bit rough to handle. Anything that we don't have to pay fees for, but everybody also knows, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You want to be in the 21st century, you're going to pay fees. So, it's less work, it's less this, is it worth? So, I mean, I think that's really, my 2 cents on everything is I definitely saw a lot of fees. I think it's still going to be difficult to do concessions the way that we want, because again, The whole point, the whole point of a good community pool is to not raise the prices to where the kids can't bring $1 or $2 to buy a Snicker bar. And if we're trying to cover all of the fees, where does it become, that the 10 cents on the candy bar at the vending machine is almost the same thing. So, and I still do not have an answer, and that reminded me, I'm going to reach out to him again today, because he has not gotten back to me where our check is. So you guys continue.
Well, I guess the question should be, is this worth it? And we don't have like an evening pass versus do we find something that fits our needs better or is a little bit more cost effective? Is this something we want to pursue? The one question that I kind of have is like, I didn't really understand that extra fee for IDs or whatever, that extra $300. What was that? Because I didn't understand it. That's where I got lost.
Yeah, there does seem to be a whole lot of
Extra
fee.
fee.
I mean,
Yeah.
even mentioning the name Ticketmaster, comparing themselves to it, I don't know. I know it was just a comparison, but it left a bad taste in my mouth. That
Yeah.
being said, I do see a lot of potential upsides to this as well.
Wait, Jason, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, sir.
How did I get muted? I have no idea. Okay, so the passes, there's the two options. There's the hard copy pass that looks like a credit card, basically. That's the $3.
Household, right?
Yeah, I think it's $3 per household and $1 per pass. So if you had a family of 3, it would be $6. If you have a family of 5, it would be $8. Or we can activate the e-pass system, which is $350 flat fee.
For everyone.
Yeah, or we can use both. I think an option around the different passes that we've been talking about is that on the hard copies of them, we can put a sticker on them of some kind. It could say, weekend only or something like that. And that way people at the front could easily see that. As long as all 3 had a sticker, we would know, oh, this is this type of pass. So I think there are some options or ways around that. Or we could also talk to them about if we could have different looking passes for different things as well.
So do we know how many people actually buy pool passes every year? So like, I'm sure we do.
What was it, 150 memberships? Oh, you
Okay.
mean pass, I'm sorry.
So it's what?
I
And
would
then
say
300?
150 to 200 is what you're going to see.
Are we day passes? Or are we talking about
Memberships.
Members.
Yeah.
200?
Yeah, I
So
want
would
it
it be
well
worthwhile?
over 100. We capped it 2 years ago at 150, I believe.
last year? Stopped? What we stopped, 200?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I thought we were quite a bit higher last year. And the only thing that I will remind everybody is the last 2 years have been COVID.
Yeah.
So there were plenty of people that posted that they really wanted to buy a membership, but they didn't like the fact that we weren't limiting. Some people didn't want to buy a membership because multiple different reasons that they just didn't know how it was going to look. Don't forget that a lot of people do buy the $80 passes, because I'm one of those. So again, if you're trying to add up how many big dollar purchases at one lump sum, I am one that buys the 8 punch pass for my kids and their friends. So I actually buy a couple of those throughout the year. A lot of people do. I didn't realize how many people do actually do that $80 thing. You would be surprised.
I guess my question is like, is it worth it for us to go digital, like based on, because if it's like 100 people, then it's not worth it for us to pay $350, right? But if it's like, it's going to make our whole life a lot easier and people are going to buy those 8 punch guys, the $80 ones, maybe it's worth it to just do it on your phone then, right? Because it'll be more cost effective. Because that $300 kind of threw me off. But then like, if you do the math, it may make more sense. So those are kind of things kind of like just.
It
wiggle.
could be something, it could be something that we wait, we could test it out without the e-pass this year and see what people like or don't like about it. And then next year, if we want to add that feature, continue it and add that feature, we could do it.
I really want that feature. I'm not going to lie. I love it.
No, I get it.
I would say that I'm not opposed to a gradual scale in or a full one on the condition that, you know, John and his people get a chance to look at this and review it and test it, you know, for feasibility for their schedules. I mean, you know, we need to be conscious that, you know, they're the ones who are gonna be down there day in and day out. But I don't know, I'll feel a lot more comfortable making a decision once I know that at least John has seen the introduction.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same way as it's the same way as we were with the, you know, debating the community building. You know, we're not in there, you know, 8, 10 hours a day. So I want the opinions of the people who are going to be the most effective, I guess.
yeah. I mean, I think the fees kind of scared me a little bit, but that doesn't mean, we need to do the math on it basically and see what actually makes sense, because I think when we talked about it, it sounded great, but then in this presentation, it sounded like a little less great, I guess. So I think we just need to do the math.
I think that's with I don't disagree with you. I think it's, you know, hearing the fee, because I sit there with the fiscal officer every day and I know how much money we used to actually, I don't want to say lose or eat, because again, it's not, a community pool is not set up to make money. It is set up for the community.
Thank you.
That said, my biggest goal from day one was always to close that gap. I mean, again, we don't have to make $50,000, but just getting to that point where we're so close to breaking even and everybody has a great time, that it's not costing. Because the one thing that I always take into mind is there are a lot of residents that have zero interest in the pool and would love nothing more than to not spend 1 penny on a pool. So closing that gap, that their property taxes and their income tax is not paying for the pool, an item that they don't use, is always been something that I really worked with David last year and, you know, even the year before, just trying to get that gap closed. That said, there's been a lot of repairs, there's been a lot of that kind of stuff. So when I start looking at the pool, every dollar counts.
Right.
Yeah, we really did get a couple of runs of bad luck there, both summers, I believe, with breakdowns. But, you know,
Yeah.
30 years of charm, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
and again, the concessions is the huge thing for me and the
Right.
reason that I was most interested in this process. But
Mhm.
again,
Yeah,
if we have
sure.
to raise the fees so high to pay for the stuff
Yeah.
because of each individual transaction, I mean, a lifeguard can take a dollar bill just as well as anybody else, and then it's, you know, pure profit. So
Yeah.
I think I think there's going to be a balance between what you do and what you don't do with the program if you decide to go that route.
When you think about 5% plus $1 on $20, right? It means that we're getting 18 and they're getting 2.
Right.
Right? So, I mean, are we really, if what we're selling has enough markup on it, then we should be okay.
Yeah.
We should
just-
still be making a profit off of that stuff. And if people want to stay with cash, we still have the vending machines there.
Right.
And they can still use the vending machines if they want to spend cash.
So I guess here's my question. If we have, this is, don't kill the messenger. So if we have somebody that's standing there with cash, why would we run it through their system?
We wouldn't need to.
Okay,
We
so they
could
wouldn't
take
have to use the
cash.
vending machine. We would just take the cash. So
Yeah.
it's more about if they wanted to use a
Credit.
credit card or something along that. But the average kid is still going to bring more than likely mommy and daddy's change from. So that
Sure.
that makes me feel better that we would only be taking payment on for anybody. So, okay, let's go back to the membership thing. So, and maybe I should have asked more questions. For my people that write checks, they drop off a check and they're going to mail a check. So this really doesn't affect those people unless they want a membership card. Okay, we set up everybody's numbers, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's say number 1 through 5 all wrote checks. Do we have to pay them a penny for anything if we don't want a membership card? Are you guys following what I'm saying? Like, is it?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know. No, technically, no.
I wouldn't
'cause
think.
you
I
So.
would think not.
I wouldn't think
No.
so.
Yeah,
No, 'cause you
because
don't have to, like-
you can look people up by their email address or their name or their street or anything like that. So no, we
We
could,
would add
if
in
they
our
lose,
people. I'm walking through this in my head. So we would add in all of the people ourselves that paid with a check or paid with cash.
Mhm.
And then anybody that did it per se online or through, you know, whatever, that would then generate the service charge and all of that, which is no different than our point and pay where we would be charging them. So I
Correct.
don't have an issue with any of that because that could potentially get you more members for the simple fact that they can use a credit card and do it online. And if they're thinking about it on Tuesday, they might, exactly. I'm that person that I'm the Amazon shopper. And then the next morning I go, why did I do that? I really didn't need that. But of course I'm not going to go return it because now it's a headache. So, I guess you would potentially gain some people, the compulsive shoppers, it's online and you just do it,
Mhm.
but you
It's
wouldn't,
the
okay.
the convenience charge. You're paying for convenience. So
Yes.
you can call it a convenience tax. You can give
Yeah.
people a discount for, writing a check. You can market it that way where you can just say, look, you get a discount if you write me a check. Otherwise, it's this flat fee, right?
Right.
Right.
Well, I've started paying all my bills online, even my AEP, just because I refuse to mail a check anymore. So
Right.
I'd rather pay that $275 and know that my electric bill's paid versus hoping that my check eventually cashes.
Well, and if we get the other system up online that we're talking about for permits and whatnot, there's still a processing fee
Yes.
that we were gonna pass along. So either way, if we're moving to electronic payments or giving that as an option, either way, it's gonna be the same, right?
That would be,
Remember correctly, the for point and pay was 2.5 or 2.25%. Does that sound right, Tiffany?
So it's a little less for that one, but
and that one and the same thing, we're gonna pass that along. So I would think that,
Right.
I think the only thing he was saying that we really couldn't pass along is like the little,
the marketplace,
the marketplace ones,
yeah.
which we,
We
again, we
just need
don't
to be
have to
really
do that.
careful. We just need to be really careful about, drowning our residents in fees. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a big thing of mine.
But on the other hand, okay, so here's my thought process with that. That if we're still going to sell a candy bar for cheaper than you can get it at the vending machine, even though there's a fee involved because we're getting it from Costco, are we charging residents more money or are we doing everybody a service because we're cutting out the middleman?
I could see that. I can agree with that
Good point.
logic.
Well,
Right?
again, if you're offering a service, if they bring cash, it's not,
Mhm.
so you're.
Yeah, and
and
cash
I-
discount, just
Yeah.
advertising.
And going back to that, I feel like you're not making them pay that service fee. If they want to bring a check and pay for their membership, they don't have to do any fees. We're just giving people a convenience option and here's your convenient fee.
Right.
So, going
Agree.
back and forth, I think the marketplace thing, I mean, I'm just gonna say it, I think that's, I would rather just, if we're gonna do it, the first year, just let them collect money and see how it goes. Because
Okay.
because we still haven't even gotten everybody on board to do that.
Right.
And then making it a simple thing. So like bringing this system in just for like the membership, whatever you guys decide on the membership cards and all that kind of stuff. The thing I would say about the membership card, the good versus bad is if you're gonna do it, do it. And if you're not, don't, or do it later. Because you don't want to do it this year and then decide you don't want to waste the money next year. And now all these people have membership cards that really don't do them any good because now you've ended that program anyways, and then they spent their $3 or whatever on it.
Yeah.
Which again, to me, I could care less. I've probably got membership cards from God knows where in the other room. But so, I mean, I would just think about that, whether or not, I mean, is it the $300 that's going to make or break us? No, it's the fact that, are we going to do it or are we not going to do it? Whatever we decide, stick with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think you have a good point about just like, are we saying we're not going to do like the snacks like through the marketplace or whatever? Because
I mean,
maybe
I think for the first year, I probably
Yeah.
would. I would just. Here's where I'm gonna go with this. I know David and I have talked about this for probably 2 years, and before David, whoever was there, we talked about the snacks, and we've just still never done it. So we need that push to push forward and say, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going to buy, and this is how we're going to do it. And so that in itself is going to be task number 1 before we even get to the marketplace. So I think getting the concessions there and having someone selling them and figuring out that process is going to be a task in itself.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with you. That's what I was gonna say is we should just maybe try to do it in stages where
Yes.
we just implement the
Yep.
product first time around and then see, or maybe if we have somebody that's willing to do this, like have a little tally of like somebody that comes in and says, oh man, I forgot my cash. Okay, tally, and then we'll know how many people would use that service. And then next time we'll know, hey, is this worthwhile or not?
Right. Well, I mean, I can always be the first to tell you, I never carry cash. So
Right.
I'm that person that
I
I
don't
will
either.
try to think
Yeah,
about
so
it.
what demographic are we? Because I hate paper, period. I do not want it around me. I do not like cash. I do not like coins. Ugh.
Well, I'm gonna say something really bad, but I go to the casino every once in a while, so we're just gonna go with, I don't ever have cash in my purse, because if I've been there in the last week, I promise you there is not a dollar in my purse.
So I don't think the marketplace was an add-on feature. Like, I don't think there's a fee for it, if I
It's just use
remember
it if you-
correctly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it could also be something that we don't start the season out with it, just to kind of get it under, just to feel out the whole thing. And it could be something we add later on. We all know that it's there. We could always test it out too and see how it works and how the team there feels as well.
Well, and not to be crazy, maybe it's a day, I'm just gonna throw you under the bus, Jason, and I'm not just throwing you under the bus. Maybe you and I go down there one day and man it on a Saturday or on a Sunday
Yeah.
that we're both available.
Yeah.
We go down there and anybody in council that wants to stop down for 20 minutes or, just to see
Yeah.
how the process works. And only do it again, like 1 or 2 days just to tally up how much were the fees, how much did this really cost us, and how much did we make? Was it worth it?
Right.
So, I mean, everybody knows I go to the pool, so it's not a surprise that I'm saying this on a public record because I go to the pool a lot and I do work down there because I do talk to people that are down there. But I would be more than happy to try it out one day. Like you said, if it's not an add-on feature, which I was thinking same thing, if we don't use it, great. I wouldn't want to get in the habit of using it until we really see, okay, this is what I have found being in this position. You're told that there's these fees, and then miraculously there turns out to be a heck of a lot more. We had looked at something and it ended up being it was a program, and Barb, I know you know what this is, but then we started finding out that if they had to research in other states, like this had to do with a court thing. The fees went through, and it was one of those that somebody just asked the right question at the right time, because it was not even a thought to any of us. And had that happened, it could have cost us a fortune. So again, just doing it for like a 1-day trial or a 1 weekend trial, I would be more than happy to sit down there with one other person.
Yeah.
Just so it's 2 of us just kind of getting, one of us doing a tally and one of us doing the actual sales or whatever. I would volunteer my entire Saturday or Sunday to go do it. So
Yeah, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing
Yeah,
to do it. as
if
well.
the weather's nice, I'd be happy to spend some time down there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
agree.
I think it's all great information. I think getting into, the only thing I hate are fees more than anything, and I think we all do. So I don't want this to take away from, I also look at it as if you sell 5 more memberships and that pays for the fees throughout the whole season, then it was worth it. But you don't know that until you try. So I'm not trying to be, I definitely don't want to come off like, oh, this is dumb. I think that, again, I think a lot of people really would like to see us get some better and newer options
Mhm.
that want to use those payments. So again, if it works, it works. We've also done this a lot. Barb and I'll tell you that, let's try for a year. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to mention some of the things that we've done, but we've done a couple things. We've brought them in and it just didn't work. So
Yeah.
you guys are probably going to see a couple of those, and I just don't want to say it on a public meeting, but I can actually think of 2 or 3 things that we actually talked about Paycor just in the last meeting. We brought it in, we've had it for a year. It was phenomenal until it wasn't, until you come across a problem and then it actually cost you more money to fix it. So it's, you won't know until you try. That's the other part.
I mean, yeah, this whole thing's a learning experience. I'd be willing to give it a shot for a year.
Yeah.
I just really want John to,
I'm-
input too. Gotta remember the people.
I am totally in agreement on
Yeah.
that. And I believe he comes back Saturday or Sunday, so I would be more than happy to reach out to him. I can meet with him myself. I can kind of talk to him. David or Jason or anybody that, I know there's extra people on the committee, but if you guys want to have another meeting and just sit down with him, and it would be really nice, again, I know we've already had 2 meetings, but in the next couple weeks, just sitting down with him and just kind of going over our thoughts on the concession, our thoughts on a couple different things, and then this, and just getting his feedback. The other thing I will tell you about John is a very go with the flow. As much as change is different, you know, he will also be on board for what council decides. So, you know, we all, it will work out. I'm not concerned about that. But just kind of going over, this is why we're thinking about this, and then getting his, because he's the one that's been down there for 40 years. He can also do this is how I see it, this problem arising. So this is where I see this going wrong. So he'll say, okay, this is where we've been lacking, and this is actually going to work out better for us. So, you know, I think he would be really good. And again, he's out of town, so we couldn't do that, but I think it would be really good to sit down with him and just say, you know, here's a couple of the changes. We're new council people. This is our new ideas. What do you think? And he will be, you know, I'm on board with this, this, and this, but you're crazy on this. Like, he will tell us.
Okay. So just looking through the fees for them, what I'm seeing is, I think if we're going to offer the payments, if people want to do payments, which I think is a great thing, we would have to go with the annual plan membership, it sounds like. So that's $420. And then it sounds like there's the $200 for the website pieces, which we can either link to theirs or do just the buttons on ours, I think, from what I understood there. I don't think, we don't use any waivers, right? Is that correct? Anyone?
Waivers in what contact again, sir?
Do we make people sign waivers or do any paper forms right now?
I don't remember us doing that.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, do you remember that in years past? I don't in the last 2.
I'm gonna pull up an application form. If I can get to one from last year.
Okay.
That we might get some
Yeah, I
insight.
don't remember any specific waivers. Maybe the mayor does.
Okay. I think she stepped away for a moment,
Uh,
but
You would think we had like a liability waiver, right?
I mean,
I
I
don't,
know that when I got the flyer, it just said send your check in. So
yeah. Should we have that?
I would think.
I would think so too, but I think Barb's trying to pull up whatever we have, whatever paper form we
Better
have.
safe than sorry, of course, you know what I mean?
That's an
Bobby,
added cost.
Form. There is paragraph. I can read it if you like.
That's fine. Go
For
ahead.
in consideration of the opportunity to purchase a membership at Minerva Park Pool, I, for myself or the participant for whom I sign, and all heirs, executors, and administrators, acquit, discharge, and covenant to hold harmless the Village of Minerva Park, its successors, its officers, employees, and agents of, and from any and all actions, claims, causes of actions, demands, damages, costs, loss of services, expenses, and compensations, or on account of, or in any way growing out of any or all personal injury or property damage that may result to me or the participant for whom I sign, as listed on this membership, as a participation at the pool, blah, blah, blah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
that's
Yeah,
covered.
I don't remember that.
When,
Releases you can get. It's at the bottom of the actual application form that people fill out.
where do they
Okay,
fill that
they don't
out?
have a Specific form, I guess.
Typically, what has happened is people either print them out and mail them, they print them out, bring them in, or they come into the village and we print them out, fill it out in person.
Okay.
I'm sure we could
So,
there's a place to put that in the, like the online thing too.
so there is, you can, it's $1 per submission. However, right? Remember, we have that option of denying and approving in it. So we just don't approve them until that paper version's signed. So either we put that on the portal for them to print out and send in, or we have them printed out at the pool and they sign it when they come the first time, right?
Okay, so as a person that hates paper,
Yeah,
I will tell you that will literally be a deterrent for me. That will literally be a problem.
okay, well, I mean, it's $1 per submission.
It's allowed
so-
to be a problem.
Yeah. I guess, can we just like have it on an iPad when you like go to the pool? To like sign?
I suppose so.
That's a good idea. Save trees.
A person
All
who,
about saving them trees.
Yeah, okay. And I can have a discussion with this company again about that.
yeah. I feel like we should just get like, instead of buying like that computer, maybe get an iPad and then people can like sign stuff on it. It'll be easier.
Yeah.
And then we can have that scanner guy.
I believe the pool has an iPad, don't they? Barb, do you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they have one already, so.
We could just make that separate, but still paperless.
So, yeah, so do we want to recommend to the council then the $620?
What's
I guess
this?
I'm, go ahead.
Please.
This 20, is that the whole year one or the half year one?
That's the whole year plus the website portion, which is 200. Now, if
Do
we
we need the whole year?
renew, well, we can't bill people if they want to pay electronically before the pool opens. We can't bill them until the
Wait.
Friday the pool opens.
We can't do, because it said like March to October, so that was confusing too, because I figured
Oh.
we would open it in March, right before, so people have
That's
time.
true.
So like, why would, because that was my math.
You're true. It is March. I'm sorry. I was thinking it was May. I was
Yeah.
thinking it said Memorial Day weekend.
But we can't do that this year. I don't think there's time to get it
No.
time for this,
Right. Right.
to do the payment plan at least before the pool opens.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think if people wanted to do it in installments,
That's gonna have to be.
with paper, this season, because of the time frame that we're in.
Well, I think we could get them, even if it goes live the end of March, and I don't know if that's a possibility, but you still could do an April and a May payment and
Right.
still split it into two.
Yeah. Or what's easier? Is it easier to still have the electronic version and not have a payment option? Or is it more important to us to have a payment option and not go like electronic? So,
I feel like some people, the financial burden of paying it all at once is an issue.
yeah.
So in order to make it more accessible to more people, I'd like to see us have that option of payment plan.
Okay, yeah.
So that's my opinion. I don't know.
Can we maybe open that and just have them, yeah, like Barb said, just make it old school, vintage?
Yeah.
What are we calling it? The OG version?
So then 560, is that then what we're recommending to spend this year?
Yeah.
The
I think that's a
360,
fair.
If I can
Okay.
save $100, I'd like to.
fair-
okay. Do we need to vote on this? Probably.
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
no. As long as you guys are, as long as everybody's kind of saying, whatever, the committee just kind of gets a straw, census of what everybody's doing.
Okay.
And then as long as the chair, the chair kind of gets everybody's opinion. So even if you've got Stacy that says, nah, and Nikki that says, yeah, I'm really on board. And you're on board, that's as much as you need. So
Okay.
you can take everybody else's, and I'm just saying that, because I think
I'm not
David's
even
actually
on the
person,
committee,
but-
by the way.
yeah, but I mean, you're hearing the census of what your committee wants. You are still the
Right.
chair, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. Even if you could even go to council, and I'm just saying this because you guys are all in here. You could feel so strongly about something and realize that your two people are just being difficult, and you really think this is a great option, and the rest of the members are going to vote for it. You can say, we discussed this at length, and I'm going to be honest, the other two members weren't thrilled about all of it. We walked through everything, but I've talked to a lot of people, and I really feel strong about this. I really want to put this, legislation in front of everybody, and we're going to do it as a group vote. And, I'm going to be honest, I've done that plenty of times. You guys can go back and see it from the last time. So I don't always
Okay.
have everybody's support when I put something in front of them. And that's the beauty of it, is you do get to vote. You know, obviously you want the support of your committee because it's gonna look a
Mhm.
lot better going in front
Right.
of council. But I just want to, you guys are newer members, so I just kind of want to point that out that, you know, you really feel strongly about something and you really think you can get the support, or within the next couple weeks you could, or a week or two, or however many weeks it is that you feel like you could gain their support and being able to produce a couple more things. Getting the reading started is very important because
Right.
typically it's 3 readings, 30 days, unless you're willing to add a meeting and add an additional reading or waive readings, or pass it as an emergency when you pass it as an emergency. Especially on something, I don't want to say this is minor because every dollar, I just said that, counts and
Yep.
you're spending resident money.
Absolutely.
But if you know, I really am going to say if council's really on board and you've read it 3 times and you've not had a lot of a lot of resistance, you know, you go ahead and just do it as the 30 days, because odds are you're probably not going to get somebody going to court and putting a referendum on a $700 thing.
Right.
Yeah, that being
all of the
said, we
support
need
of
to move
council.
quick because time is
Right.
Yeah.
we're kind of late into the
Right.
Yep.
game, school
Yep.
as far as recollection is, so.
Right.
Nobody ever wants to hear emergency and nobody ever wants to hear that, but you really just have to think really hard and heavy on what am I,
Yeah.
if I haven't
Mhm.
had anything in the 3 readings and nobody's beating down my door, emailing me, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the good news. You've had 45 days for people to say, what are you thinking?
Yeah,
Perfect.
emergencies have their place. This isn't one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I let everyone go, I do want to run one more idea past you, because we were talking about, I got the consensus that we want to hold off on the slide this year, because we don't want to, we have some other expenses of the village. But I want to throw out, we talked about a possible movie night or movie nights at the pool. And so my recommendation is that we do that as a fundraiser for the slide. Maybe do 3 of them, 1 a month, the 3rd Friday of every month, you know, June, July, and August. It's an extra ticketed event. We could sell them singly, individual. We could sell them as a, you know, buy all 3 passes, and really kind of let people know up front that this is a fundraiser for the pool, for the slide, and that we have a target that we're trying to hit. And, you know, if we can hit that target, we can go ahead and get that slide installed. So what are your thoughts on that?
Obsessed. Love it.
I think it's an awesome idea. I really do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right out of the gate with this guy. I love it.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
You're getting your residents hyped up and you're telling them to put their money where their mouth is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And movie nights, I think, would be so big with our residents.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. So I do have a couple questions with that. So I feel like safety is an issue, right? Especially you want to watch the movie when it's dark out. We don't want it to be light. So do we have enough lights at the pool? You know, do we have lights in the pool? How is that set up?
I think it's light enough.
Mhm.
I don't want kids in the pool and lifeguards not being able to see them in the
No.
dark. So,
Wine and cheese is well lit.
Yeah.
And
Why?
okay.
I mean, I've
Okay.
never noticed or thought it was dark. Now, how are you doing this? Do we have a projector? I do know the
So-
MPCA has a pretty nice
Mhm.
sized one that they got last year.
Okay.
I doubt MPCA would object too much to collaborating with us on this.
Not
Right.
at all. Not at all.
And worst case, I have a projector that I bought to watch movies outside, and I actually bought
Edward.
last year one of those giant inflatable screens too that I haven't even used. So I'm more than willing to let the village use it for these. But I know that when we show a movie in public, we do have to pay fees for it. So I'll go and research that a little bit more. But I honestly was thinking if we could have water themed movies, so things like Moana or Finding Nemo or things like that. I think that that would be a nice tie into the pool. And obviously we want movies that the whole community can watch. So we're probably not watching Jaws at the pool. Although that would be a fun one, right?
That would be funny.
Inflatable sharks, that'd be kind of cool. We could put in a jet skis, do some water world. you know,
Right,
the-
that would be fun, yeah.
Still.
So, okay, well, I just wanted to get y'all's consensus first on that. I'll do a little more research on it and get back to the committee with some fees and some recommended pricing for that. But I'd love to see it as a fundraiser for the slide. Because I think that would be a fun way to get the community involved, so. Good. All right, does anyone have anything else tonight that they wanted to bring up or talk about?
Did everybody see the flag email?
Yes.
The flag
Yes, thank
recycle
you.
program email?
I don't think
Yes,
I got that.
What is your guys' thoughts on that?
I love it. I think,
I love it. And
Yeah.
you know, after we did a social media post, what was it? It was just a couple weeks ago. I never even knew that stuff existed till someone made a social media post. I
Mhm.
didn't know that there was places that pick that up. So the same Boy Scout troop, he actually wants to possibly do it as an Eagle Scout project. And I did say, you know, with renovations of the new, you know, community building, it is gonna have to be something that if we need to move it, to, you
Mhm.
know, it. But he sent me those pictures. They're
Mhm.
putting a little proposal together.
Okay,
But he personally, until it would be done, would be picking up these flags from your home, and making sure that that's done. I think it's amazing. Our Boy Scouts do so much for them. You know, these are the
Mhm.
same troops that are helping our elderly on our, you know, carriage rides in the winter. So
Yeah. yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I'll send
So,
it to you, Stacy.
Okay, and then when they get their proposal together, make sure you send it to the team here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All
Guys,
right,
That's awesome.
I'm gonna say I'm so excited about all of this. This is like the little pep that I needed today. Like I'm so like again, like
Yeah,
proud.
I'm beyond tired, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is
I'm
still,
so proud to
Yeah,
live in
yeah.
Fairville Park.
yeah, I think we have some fun things, you know, I'd really like to see us do a campaign around membership drive. So, you know, if possible, some yard signs or things like that around the community, really kind of pushing it. And definitely in the newsletter to kind of drive sales. This is my business mind working, sorry. But to drive those membership sales, yeah, definitely because the pool's here for the community, so. Yeah.
Only been
Well, and if you add events like those movie nights and stuff like
Mhm.
that, that makes it more appealing. Not only are we fundraising for certain things they want to see in the future at that pool, but
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It's more appealing to different families.
Perfect. Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, that's all I had for tonight.
Awesome.
We definitely have more to talk about. I feel like this committee has a lot going on right now. So we'll try to circle back around here. Well, I'll look at the calendar. I know we have a lot of Thursday night things coming up, but Thursday night seems to be good for this group. So I'll try to aim for a Thursday night in the future. Yeah. Are we good to adjourn?
Works for me.
Okay.
it's
Perfect.
okay.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.